Welcome back. Akabiyesi, you have business interests in all kinds of areas from what I gather, from what you've told me, in agriculture, manufacturing, construction. But you gave all of that up to vie for the throne.
Well, it's a divine calling. I have to give it up. God has been preparing me for this calling, this actually role. So I'm at peace now.
Service comes in different ways. In the early 1960s, one of your predecessors, the late Oba Adesoji, was elected into the House of Representatives and was appointed a federal minister. He went on to become Governor General of the Western Region. The late Oba Badagry was also elected into the House of Assembly, and so on and so forth. Do you think that in Nigeria of today, traditional rulers should be involved in politics in this or any other way?
Well, if you look at in the past, they were involved in politics. They know the game more than even the politicians because they are closer to their people. That was what even our colonial masters used. And they needed to bring the Northern Protectorate and Southern Protectorate in 1914. Who did they use? The royal fathers. They didn't use politicians. It is this kingship system in the south and the caliphate in the north that they brought together. So in our constitution, it is even the politicians that actually weakened the powers of traditional rulers. But the truth is they can't do without them. Whenever they want to go for election, they go back to them. Unfortunately, the institution of our royal fathers, they don't have the constitutional powers. But that doesn't mean they don't have a role to play. They do have a role to play because they constantly see their people. Their need, they run to them. So my point is, they should work hand in hand and team up as one team to make everything better.
Before we came to Ife for this interview, we sent out a tweet asking our followers to send questions for His Imperial Majesty. And one of such questions is from @Omoyisola Tawo, who asks, what are your plans to help the Osun State government resuscitate the state's economy?
We are not going to leave governor or the government of Osun to do it alone. We will work with them. Osun is one of the best, states in Nigeria, one of the best kept secrets. I just talked about tourism in Osun State and a land of pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is different from tourism. Pilgrimage is primary. Before you put down money for food, you will look for money for pilgrimage. But tourism is secondary. You eat first. When you have food, then you can now do tourism. So pilgrimage is like a must. And we have such potentials in Osun State. So we need to work very close with the government. And we're doing that. And he's extended hands of fellowship to all the traditional rulers in Osun State. What is critical is for all of us to be together first. We shouldn't have divergent views. Once we don't have divergent views, we will make a lot of progress. So I am 100% sure that the economy of Osun state of Osun, will be back in no time.
Umaru B. Suleiman simply sends a word of advice. It says, unity, peace, and mutual respect should be Kabiyesi's principles. And I'm sure Your Majesty agrees.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a peace-loving person. That's my number one goal. I must look for it. I must look for peace. Because to me, peace is like honey. Peace and unity is like honey. Development is like ants. They are inseparable. You put honey anywhere, ants will look for it. So development will naturally come when we have peaceful coexistence, when we have things that are better in terms of proper structure in place, development will naturally come. But when there is chaos and disagreement, you can't find development. How can you find development? It's not possible. So it's my watchword. And give honor to whom honor is due. I have been going around the entire Yoruba state, not as a leader. I'm not saying nobody, no, I'm not going to put that supremacy. So the thing is, if we know our role in terms of peaceful coexistence, life will be fine. So I'm an ardent believer of that.
Would it be wrong for me to believe that what you just said is what prompted your visit, your recent visit to the Ile Ife of Oyo, which has been termed historic, seeing that this hadn't happened in several decades?
Yeah, because it's a sensitive issue. Honestly, in fairness, I'm just a very objective person. I am a student of history. I love history so much. That has actually helped me. They don't used to see Ooni of Ife. In the first time people will see Ooni of Ife was in 1903, when Ooni left the palace and the entire Yoruba kings had to give him that respect, and they all left their palaces. They left. Actually, to be specific, February 28, 1903, there's a gazette to that effect. They had to call on Ooni that, look, there is a problem between the Remos and the Ijebus, the Elekbes and the Akaribo. They were fighting, killing themselves, that you, as the spiritual head, you need to come. But who are the people that are at the forefront? Ile Ife, a warrior, never lost a war. That's Oromio. We all know the story. So we all must come together. It's like saying in the history of Yoruba, you are not going to talk about the Ijebus, come on, or you are not going to talk about the Egbas or the Ekitis. They all played pivotal role one way or the other. So it's very important to give honor to whom honor is due. So that's what I'm doing. They have more experience than I even do because they've been there long before me. So I have so much to learn from them.
And this looks like another suitable point to take another break. We ask that you please join us again.